The hero behind our champion.
Swimming was my life.
I want to know everything about that day.
Yusra and Sara arrived in Berlin in an emergency camp.
They always say it's all in your head.
You won't win this race.
I'm a young woman, I have dreams, I'm Syrian, I have a whole other identity other than just being a refugee.
I never came on a level that I could compete with the best in Germany. All the we did, she always said, I know what I can, I know how fast am I, and I know how fast the others are.
Someone else might have never touched water again.
It's the first time you will hear it. Lose a bit the trust in the European value system. There's a friend in a jail. I believe in human rights. It is a label, Refugee Olympic Team. Just wanted to stay behind the scene. To see me on the screen, oh my God.
From the original Netflix movie, The Swimmers, today we have the real coach Sven. Hi Sven.
Hi, nice to be here.
Today we have the coach, the hero behind our champion. And I'm so happy and I'm so glad that you are here with me today. But first, let me ask you, how was your day?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm very excited the last days here in Cairo, and it was very nice. I was here for a summit at Startup Without Borders, and it was really cool. I had a nice talk.
Yeah.
And now I'm happy to be here.
And how is Egypt treating you?
Very well. Yeah, everything. I really couldn't see so many things today. I was a little bit on the pyramids, but it was a lot of things to organize with the guides, but everything.
So you got to see the pyramids at least?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Impressive. It is, history, culture. If you know this, then to stand there in front of these enormous buildings, it was for me like, oh my God, really. I just saw them on the screen until now, but yeah, to see them now live was really impressive. I have to come back and to take more time with them. Definitely.
And there's so much more to see.
Of course, all the time when you are traveling for doing some speeches or doing interviews all the time, it is always a bit stress, but it is positive stress. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now to be here is also a nice, relaxing time now, not in the cold like the days before, but.
Yes. So now it's time to relax and have this comfortable conversation where I really want to know more about Coach Sven. Before we get, I know people are always asking you about Yusra, definitely our hero, but I really want to know about Sven first. How was Sven's childhood? I want to know more about your family. I want to know about your background. I want to know you, because it's you that gave our hero and our champion this strength and this power to unlock all her potential and all these achievements.
My life was very normal for a spoiled white kid in West Germany, grown up, and I have a lovely childhood with good parents, a nice sister, and I had everything I needed in a West Berliner district. I grew up with friends and family, but my parents always took care that we have a wider view on the world and not just at this time when I was born, the city was divided, surrounded by the GDR at this time, and so they said, no, we have to look over the wall, the Berlin Wall. And this is how I think they educated, and was the most important thing, to be open-minded, to see different things, not as a threat, to see it like a chance to know and to meet new things, new experiences.
So they always pushed you to try new things and meet new things, so that you can expand your horizon further.
Yeah.
So that's how you grew up.
Yeah. You
were a risk taker. You got out of your comfort zone. No?
I love to be in the comfort zone, to be honest.
Okay.
But no, of course, it is. I think there's to take a risk. It depends on what it is. I do not jump from a bridge. This is some things I don't like to do. But to meet new people, and that is important. To talk to other different experienced people This is something I like, and this is what my parents always said. You have to understand why someone is doing this like this in this way. If it was also something that I didn't like this time, that maybe someone was hurting me emotionally, then my parents always said, it is not good, it's not right, but give him or her a chance to understand. And these are the things that I grew up with, and I really like it.
Okay. And so you were a swimmer yourself as a young child?
Yes. I started to swim when I was 10 years old in the same club where I met Yusra. And I trained the normal training besides school, I think 20 hours and more a week. And but I never came on a level that I could compete with the best in Germany. So I decided when I did my social service in a psychiatric institute, I decided, okay, one last competition and then you finish your own athlete career and do different things.
Okay.
So I became a coach.
So you became a coach.
Yeah.
But I also saw something really interesting on LinkedIn. I saw that you were a marketeer. Yeah. So how did that happen?
Well, after my social service, I worked in a printery. So nothing special. We just printed color to paper. And then I worked for a software engineer, and we built up some software for call centers. But the whole time I worked also as a coach in my club with different age groups. And after the call center idea, I decided, okay, I will go just for coaching. I spoke with our head coach, and she said, the guy I need. So I started just to work as a coach. And I did coaching till 2017, just coaching. Then I stopped for a few months after all these experiences we had. And then I came back in the administration for the club and did coaching for little kids just to have fun, 2 times a week, and that's it. And this I stopped in 2020. I stopped to coach them, and then also COVID hits us. So I tried to figure out things in my life, and last year there was this moment where I got a call from the Special Olympic World Games, and they asked me, hey, we need someone who do some PR in the city, stakeholder communication, not the one in the first row who's always just trying to get in touch. No, someone who's in touch with people, who hold the contacts and try to connect the dots. And this is what I'm doing now.
This is your passion, like coaching is your passion, or did you just grow up as a swimmer and it's something that you found yourself doing because you're good at it, or is it something that you knew at heart that it's your passion, it's what you want to do?
So coaching is my passion. It was my passion for so many years, and I don't want to miss one unit with the kids, one hard competition. The good competition, of course, I don't want to miss them as well, but it was also for me always a learning, and I always grew with my groups, with the kids I trained. And this passion I always had, but at one point there was then the thing that I said, okay, I cannot stand any longer at the pool deck. It was a time, I experienced so many things, and of course the experiences with Sara and Yusra, they changed a lot. It was not, till then it was for me just about competing. It was to form the best performance in an environment that was just built to do the best. And with Yusra and Sara, I found out, okay, there are so many other things also in sport where sport can do good things. And I decided, okay, then I have to make a break now.
Sport is much more than just competitiveness, that it has a message along with it. I really want to know, on the first day you met Yusra, I want to know everything about that day.
No, it was I can just start with this day because it was a very normal way how we met. Yusra and Sara arrived in Berlin in an emergency camp, and they just spoke with some volunteers and said, hey, we were a swimmer in Syria, so can you help us to find a club? And they contacted us, these volunteer groups. And then they came, we said, yeah, they should come around, we will see what we can do. And they arrived at the club, organized, not like in the movie. They really, we knew that they would come, we were waiting for them. And then we gave them swimsuits, goggles, caps, and they jumped into the water. And there was not long conversations. It was really like, how are you? Yeah, you're a swimmer. Okay, good. What's your favorite stroke? Okay, jump into the pool. And they performed how good someone can perform that had this journey behind him or her, them. And then we directly, our head coach and I said, okay, yeah, we can take them. They can do whatever they want with our groups. So we said, okay, you can train here, and we will help you. But at this moment, it was really just help. It was nothing like there was no idea about Olympics or a film. Yeah, it was just, okay, two young women, they are foreigners, they don't know how this world is we are living in, and they're in Berlin, they came from a different part, so we said, okay, all this bureaucracy, we will help you, and this was the idea. And so we met, and but the first day was really boring in a way.
So you did not imagine that this first encounter is going to lead to a life-changing experience?
No, definitely not. It was not in my mind, no way of thinking about it. When there was a decision that there will be a Refugee Olympic Team, it was also for us, Yusra was struggling with this idea, and I said, okay, you make your decision, you make your point, if you want to compete for them or no. It's about you, not about me. And we never planned things.
What is it exactly that's inside Sven that made him say, no, I'm going to help them? Although you could have just turned your back on them. And then, yes, this did come with beautiful things later on, but you did not know that. You just did it out of goodwill.
Yeah.
And so goodwill always turns around and comes back around. But really, where does this come from in your heart?
I really think that the foundation for this was my childhood and my parents. Yeah, they gave this to us to be open. I mean, we had a war in the 90s in Europe as well, in former Yugoslavia, and there were also refugees coming, and we directly did stuff. Yeah, my mother organized some packages to send to Croatia, Serbia, and Slovenia. I think these three. Then we organized on the school a pickup, and also I remember when I was in the first grade, we organized with some classmates a group that was collecting garbage from the area around the school. So I was always educated like this. And then as older I became, it was also a matter of the people you are getting in touch with. First, my parents, my sister, of course, and then you have my head coach, who was also my coach when I was a swimmer. And she also lives this helping idealist attitude. Yeah, we are different persons. She's, I would say, stronger than I am in many ways, but she also has this idea of, when we can help, we help. So we started, for example, in the club already 2012 swim classes for kids from refugee camps in Berlin. So, and we organized this, and then it worked, and we still do these classes. So everything is good, and I think this is how I am, and also with my swimmers before Yusra. I always tried to be a coach more, also that worked with soft skills. Yeah, it took a while till, especially in Germany, the coaches understood that swimming is not just training in the water. It's more. Yeah, it is also not just the gym. No, it is more. It is a full package: nutrition and also mental health and soft skills. So I worked in an age group with kids from 12 to 16 years old. In their time, in this age, we know what is in our minds in this age, what we want to do, what we struggle with. Parents got divorced, grandmothers died, the cat died, or whatever. All these struggles, and as a coach who was spends more time sometimes with these kids than the parents, you also have to deal with this. So it was more a natural thing, and that was also how I saw Yusra and Sara all the time. That when we met, it was never like, oh, I feel a pity, I have to help you. And no, it was like, okay, they're here, they need help, and we do it.
It's embedded in you.
Yeah.
You are a giver at heart.
Yeah, maybe like this.
You said something really important, that when you train someone, you are not just training them physically, you are training them psychologically. Because again, they always say it's all in your head. And creating a champion is a mixture of all of that. Their physique, their emotions, their mental health, psychology and all that. Like, do you know the story of the frog, the deaf frog?
No.
Okay, let me tell you the story of the
please.
deaf frog. So there's this race, and there are so many frogs that need to climb to the top of a certain ladder. And everyone's like, it's impossible, no way, no one's gonna make it. So the frogs start falling one after the other, and only one makes it up the ladder. And so people were in awe, and they started checking out, like, who's this hero, who's this champ? And then they figure out that this frog is deaf. So just because he did not listen to what people are saying, that he can't make it, that he can't do it, it only takes one person to believe in you, to tell you you can do it. Because when you listen to people telling you, no, you won't make it, you really won't make it. So psychology really does play a big role in creating a champ like Yusra. So how did you train her in these areas? How did you help her she was coming out of a trauma. Someone else might have never touched water again after what she's been through. So what role did you play here?
I think Yusra made it very easy for me, because she really had her goal. It was her goal to going to Germany and have a perspective and not the fear of war. And that is how she was acting the whole time. When we were in training, she wanted to swim. There was never a point that she said to me, I give up, that's it. No, it was always like, she was never listening, that is the point, to all these people who said, no, what is this? What she want to do? She cannot do this. She had her goal, and this was to go to the Olympics one day. And we just fixed our, or matched our ideas how to do this. The idea was 2020 for Tokyo. And this was what we did at this moment. I gave her a plan and said, look, this is a thing, this is the idea of 4.5 years. Also, I said, I don't know how long I will be your coach, because you are all getting older, there are other coaches in the club, maybe you want to exercise differently at one point, but this is the idea that I have, and you can go with it. And that is what she believed in. She was believing in this way, and she knew also how to become fast. She had her father who explained her a lot about swimming and of getting endurance and technique and stuff like this. So she had a good foundation for everything.
She had the support system that told her you can do it.
Yeah. This is a thing, the support system. Of course, there were other swimmers in my past. They hadn't this support system. I wouldn't say that there were obstacles, the parents, but they maybe just said, okay, it's just swimming. And finally, you have to be honest. Yes, it is just swimming. Most swimmers will never make their life because of swimming. This is an extraordinary situation. Even Olympic champions is not to be an Olympic champion is not a guarantee to pay your life with it. So, and these are also things that I always try to also to give Yusra with her in her life. That it is more. The partner school we are working with in the club has the motto, be a champion in life. Yeah? And I think this is the truth. Yeah? And this is how I always started to, started to work with my groups. Yeah? The first thing I explained them, look, everyone has this dream and I will support your dream. But on this way, we will have so many hurdles, so many things to deal with. And this is what I also want to teach you. I want to help you also to go through this and to understand life and also to be good together. Because what will stay? If you will decide, I don't want to swim anymore, or you have an injury, or you will leave the city and go somewhere else, that what you can take always with you is your knowledge, your experience. And this is what I always try to give everyone, to say, look, be nice together, be open, think about things differently, different perspectives. And for me, it's this biggest thing that still my one of my longest group I trained, that they still contacting me, sending me pictures, messages, cards, whatever, birthday wishes. And this is something that I said, okay, I made everything right. Maybe not every one of them had the biggest success, but they are still texting me. They are still happy to see me, and this is important.
You made a change in their lives, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Did you have the same support system that we're talking about? Did you have people that believed in you?
Of course. Because
let me tell you, there's this scene in the movie where Yusra asks Coach Sven, because you tried for the Olympics, and she asked him, so why you didn't make it? Was it training or discipline? And so he tells her, I did not believe in myself. So to what extent is this true?
So, this scene never happened in reality.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think what the script writer and Sally maybe thought was, okay, I'm a kind of this. Because normally I don't want to sit here. Yeah, I want to stay behind the scenes. Yeah, this was my life always. I was a coach. I was a coach who was also in front of the kids always. If someone said something against them, I was there, even if they are right. The first thing I did is, no, stop. These are my group, and if you have a problem, then come to me and I will talk to them. You do not talk to them. So, but normally I just wanted to stay behind the scenes. And this scene especially is, I think where they got me right was this the sentence, nothing is black and white. And I think this is the point. Yeah, of course, I never trained for the Olympics because I was not so fast. I realized very early in my life, okay, an Olympic champion is far, far away. Olympic participation maybe took 6 months longer to understand this. But I said, okay, but I do this for a purpose, for myself, for being together with friends, and also, yes, to learn to get faster. And swimming was my life, for myself. So what the scene shows is that, of course, I gave up in a way when I realized I cannot become so fast, but it's a realistic thing. It is like discussions with other athletes to say, you won't win this race because the others are faster. This is your reality, yeah? It is not like...
there was no room for improvement?
No, it's too short, no ways, whatever. There's a lot of scientific explanations why there is a limitation at one point. I don't think that there's never a chance, if you start early enough and if you go the right way. But on this way, there are so many passes that you can go or not go that make finally the decision how far you can go.
Okay.
And I had also these kinds of discussions with Yusra, and the discussion was how fast can she swim, and I made a very, very realistic prognosis on the idea that I have, and I explained what is a normal development, what is an extraordinary development, and then I showed her, look, can happen, this is the idea. And it is hard of course, yeah. But at one point we have to be realistic. If you have if you're happy with the things you're doing, then you do everything right first. But if you compare swimming or sport, for example, with business, yeah, and if you just have a small newspaper booth somewhere, yeah, then you cannot sell to 1 million people because you cannot manage it at this booth. Yes. Yeah, so you have to expand, and if you don't do this, then it won't work. So, and these are the surroundings, also in sport, that needed to be seen. Yeah, so
you have to have the capacity to expand and
Yeah.
improve.
Yeah.
That's good. But again, I was just thinking, and let me share my thoughts out loud. If Yusra has thoughts of reality for 1 second there, when she reached Germany after all she's been through, it seems a bit too far to be in the Olympics. I mean, if we say 1 + 1. So I'm not quite sure if, do you think there's always this roof to dreams? And like you always have to have this reality check so you don't get lost? And when can you really say, no, I'm gonna dream big. I'm gonna go for it. I know it may be far, but I'm gonna do it. Because I just thought of her the moment you said that, and I thought she could have said that. She could have had a reality check with Sara. Like I see in the movie, Sara was kind of like her reality check. And no, this is unrealistic. Like this is way too far. We are Syrian refugees. We just swam across the sea. We've been through some very, very tough moments and tough days, and our life is tough. We're not having it easy. So hey, give it up. So where is that thin line? Take your time.
we can also take Yusra as an example in this time. Yeah, all these struggles she had. Yeah. I don't know what could have happened that she would say, okay, I quit at this point because I need to focus on something else. I don't know, paperwork in Germany, something that maybe could have happened in Syria. Everything is good this time. So I don't know if there would have been a moment where she would have said, okay, I stop it. I think what she always did was she dreamed big. She thought that she can go for it and she can do it, and she wants to put everything into it. On the other way around, she always said, okay, I will check back, that I don't get lost in this dreaming, and being too disappointed if it won't work. Of course it is hard to understand, okay, let's say I want to win a gold medal, in swimming, and I'm far away from this time to swim around the medal. To realize it, okay, that is a competition when you can see, okay, I'm far away. But to get this wider understanding, to say, okay, there is a limitation how close I can come to these medals. This is something that you can do all the time, to see, okay, I can improve this way, and then I will see. And this is also something that I learned from her, that I explained to her, look, it is far away, a gold medal, that she said, yeah, but I can dream more. And I said, yeah, of course, you should keep. It was hard for me also to understand,
Okay.
but I did, and I was, it was amazing how she always said, I know what I can, I know how fast am I, and I know how fast the others are, but I can dream, and I can go this, and I will never blame someone for this, not reaching this dream, but it is also good to have this dream, and it is motivating me, and I think this is a balance between reality check and dreaming, and she did it in perfection.
So what's the thing you learned the most from Yusra?
I still learn a lot from her, from both, I have to say. Sara is also amazing, and she was the one who first kicked me out of my comfort zone. on purpose. Yusra taught me many things. The most I learned from her, I think, is this, that my very open mind was still a closed mind. And I think it is still a closed mind. But Yusra and Sara both taught me so many things to be more open, to question and reflect, and reflect more and more. This is something that I was always thinking, oh, you do so much, you always rethink and question yourself, and not in a bad way, not that I was all the time just questioning what I'm doing now, but to see, okay, where can I get better? But also into this world, this is what they just said, okay, hey, no, yes, you have the television, you have the newspapers, but there's also something different. And yes, there are people, and this is, I realized through them.
Mm-hmm. So you said, I always like to be behind the scenes. How did you deal with all the publicity that happened when the movie came out and all that?
So, I mean, the biggest publicity that was for us most stressful was in 2016, after the team was announced. Mm-hmm. Not the nomination was announced, not really when the team was announced. We had a media request. I never was expecting that so many people are interested in a swimmer from Syria living in Germany. Mm-hmm. But it was really, I just remember the night when it was announced, I had so many messages on Facebook that on the next day I called the German Federation. I called a contact and said, hey, we have so many things to do with this. I don't know how to deal with it. And then they organized stuff to help us. So this was really big attention. That was also learning, to become to be a swimming coach, a manager, PR person, psychologist, of course, dealing with all these stuff and all these things. I was happy that Yusra and Sara did it very well in the media.
They were fine with the publicity. Yeah. Did you try to protect them?
Of course. We tried a lot, and it was also all the time we said, okay, what do you want to do? Tell us. Yeah, sometimes I had also the feeling that they maybe said, okay, we do it for you, but at one point I also said, I'm also not that one who's pushing and forcing you to do stuff. I'm happy if I don't have to sit together with 10 journalists. So you decide what you want to do. But they understood what it means, and what chances will be there for them and for the bigger purpose. And so this was the biggest media attention that we had.
But you had to step out of your comfort. You went to sleep and you woke up in the morning with so much attention, and you were just under the spotlight, and you're not used to it.
For me, the good thing was really that I was more beside the spotlight. Mm-hmm. I I managed how to bring the spotlight around us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But of course there were interviews, but I didn't have a big problem to do an interview, one or two. So I was always happy that Yusra and Sara did it. And when there was a question for me, of course I answered it. And then to the Rio Olympics, it became more. Then international broadcasters came to Berlin to film with us and stuff like this. Yeah, there was more attention, but I also knew that it's just a period of time. And I learned enough, for example, also for this time when Sara was arrested in Greece, when I could deal better with media. I had the contacts. I know how media worked, how to highlight things. And yes, also when the film was released.
You knew how to use the media to benefit Sara's situation.
We had a lot of support, that is clear. It was not just me. We were so many people, friends from the college, from her NGO, from other ways. We met, also the International Olympic Committee, UNHCR. Everyone helped me or Yusra or Sara in a way. And just if it was just a contact or just to listen and say, hey, how can I deal with this situation? there was a big support system around us. But of course, yes, it was also the media, and it was an interesting story. Yeah, and we knew that media creates also opinion, and we just wanted to be in front of the wave. Yeah, this was what we said. We said, okay, we cannot let the other side decide what is the opinion, because this opinion is not the truth. We know what Sara and this NGO did, and her partners and her friends, and this was for a good purpose, and they did nothing wrong. They were there at the right moment for people in need, and this was then the way how good. The good thing was that all the journalists believed it and still believe it, and they will get proof soon that it was not wrong.
I just want to know more about how you took the news about the movie. Now, more spotlight. So how did you take, I want to know everything about that day. Like, were you just on the couch? Were you at work? And like, how was your reaction really?
You mean when
you knew they are making a movie about Yusra and you?
I knew it so long. So it started in 2016, before Yusra was nominated, before there was the way how this team will look like. We got in touch with one of the producers, and Ali Jafar, and he was very nice, very kind, and just said, hey Sven, yeah, I want to do it. And I said, yeah, but I'm a swimming coach, Yusra is a swimmer, Sara wants to do her things, so let us see what will happen. And he was like, yeah, but don't forget me. And this is what finally happened. We never forgot him.
Okay.
And then there was a moment when we had a management, and then we brought them in touch. And with all the other requests, because a lot of people came to us and asked for the rights, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about, rights.
Yeah.
I'm a swimming coach. And then we had discussions, how long they need to make a decision and stuff like this. And then finally they always said, yeah, if you don't sign it now, no one will be interested after the Olympics. And I said, yeah, then it is how it is. Then there's no film. It's okay for us. We are happy.
Okay.
And but Ali was very nice, kind all the time. And finally he brought us in touch with Working Title. And so we did this. So it was not like I sat on the
It wasn't a shock.
Yeah, it was just like, okay.
You saw it coming.
Yeah.
Do you like the way your role was depicted in the movie? Like, do you see that it really shows the real Sven?
There's really nothing I don't like. Yeah, this is, of course, the situation was different. Yeah, and this is also my reaction was sometimes different. But first of all, Matthias Schweighöfer is in Germany one of the most famous, if not the famous, current actor. He has also some Hollywood movies. He played on Netflix for I forgot the name, Army of Death.
Yes.
And Army of Thieves. So he's very experienced, and he is a good guy. He knows a lot about the industry, but he stayed always. How I met him is that he really is a normal person in life, and this was for me very nice. Yeah, to know this. This was maybe the only thing that I said to Sally was, I don't care who will play me. I just want to have someone who's real and nice and not far right. This would be great. And yeah, I think she chose the right one. Shows the right one. And then to see me on the screen with a total different view, it was the first time a bit like, oh my God, yeah, what is this? It's funny. And of course, I mean, I met Matthias before, and so he was studying me a bit, but it was very relaxed atmosphere. We just spoke about life, about our childhood. He grew up on the other side of Germany, so we just exchanged how different it was, how our families are. And that's it. And of course, then he asked about some special moves that a coach is doing to work with the watches, or stuff like this. And I showed him, and then when the production started, he called me before he was shooting and asked, hey, how should I do this? How would you do this? How would you act and react? So it was very good. And yes, the thing is, I hadn't this feeling as long as someone said to me, yeah, you're always smiling in this film. Yeah, you're always the happy one. You're the optimistic one. And I said, yeah, okay, maybe, yeah. And then, was it like this? And I said, no. Of course, I always tried to do the best. Yeah, and I always was optimistic that finally everything will go good, be good. But it was also that I had a lot of days where I come home late at night after a lot of emails. Maybe something happened in Sara's or Yusra's life, back to Syria or whatever. And I came just home and just wanted to cry and just wanted to say, hey, can I just have a break? These days were there as well.
You had your own low points, just like any human being. Yeah. But how did you deal with it? Because maybe cry a little, that's what I do. And then just shake it off and sleep on it. And sometimes I feel better the next day. But I can't imagine the amount of pressure you've been going through. And you reach this point where you break down. How do you really get back up without giving up?
In this time that you can see in the film, I never had this breakdown. It was more like the small moments, these weak moments, what is normal. Everyone has weak moments, and it is good that we have it, because we also realize that we are human beings. In so many different ways, we are human beings. And this was, in this time that you can see in the film, it was more like you said, going to bed, start to cry, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, drink a tea. Reset, everything is done. Yeah, and then of course there were my father, my mother, my sister, friends, and my closest circles. And I spoke with, and I said, hey, Jörg, or sometimes it's just not to speak about it. I just remember with my best friends, normally it was a topic of 5 to 6 minutes, and then the rest of the day we just spoke about soccer, about sport, about life, about kids, about whatever is happening in their life, And this also settled me down a lot of times. I think the worst time was when Sara was arrested. That I think that I was not breaking down at this moment was just there's a friend in a jail. And I just knew at this time jails from Germany from pictures. And I said, okay, it is not because it's not a comfort zone, definitely not. But what I saw then in Greece was for me like, oh my God, that something like this is existing in Europe was for me far away. Yeah, and so the idea was really, I don't give up till she's out of jail, and that kept me away from breaking down. And I think I had my breakdowns after they were released, and I was struggling also a lot of times with this retrospective, because also this Damocles sword is still over them. We don't know how long it will take. It is more a matter of time, not a thing of this case or this judge or this court. It is more a thing of time. But finally, you have these moments, and then you need to speak. Of course, learning self-awareness, meditation, stuff like this.
You need to know how to get yourself out of there. But what I can really see is that you have, yourself, a strong support system, someone to talk to when you're feeling at your lowest, and that really makes quite a difference. Having someone there to just listen to you, like, just let me cry on your shoulder, and then we can just discuss other things. And so I think the essence here is really having someone to share the struggles with. So who are the main people in Sven's life that you share your struggles with, the people that really push you? Is it still Yusra and Sara, or other people in your circle?
I mean, I'm more the person that tries to figure out everything by myself. Yeah, when it was about breakdown, struggling, I needed my time to realize it, to calm down, and then I start to speak with others about it. And I think I'm more and more open with this. Of course, my mother and my sister, they are living far away from me, in Germany, but away. So I don't want to give them so much burden. Yeah, they have their own families, they have their own struggles. But of course, at one point I also talk to them. But yeah, I have then close friends, really close friends from years ago, 30 years ago, where I'm still in touch with, when I just speak about normal things and then I get some opinion about the situation. And and then in the last years, of course, especially Yusra became more and more someone I can talk to. Yeah, and I don't tell her everything that is in my life going wrong, but at one point, if there is something, then I also talk to her. And then I have also to say that Manalisa, who's playing Sara, we became also very close, and she also helped me in this, in a weak time. No, weak is the wrong word. Weak is nothing bad. In a moment where I really didn't know what to do next. Yeah, but we were close and we were talking the whole time. And then she said, "Yeah, look, Sven, just see it like this, or open your view to this direction." And so these are the people.
I like that you're always open to learning from people around you, regardless their background, their age. Like, you're not I'm the coach, I know everything. And I also knew that you coached Manal and you coached...
Natalie.
Just Natalie?
Yes, Natalie,
okay.
Yeah. Manal swam 1 year before, when the normal production should have started. No, it was Natalie. And it was also amazing because she was so passionate. And then she came to the swimming, and then it was really like she could swim not to drown. It was not swimming, yeah.
Okay.
And so we had 1 week before she left to the production. So we just started with learning the water, meet the water first, became a friend to the water. And this is what we did in this week. But after 5 sessions, she had already an understanding of swimming. She could move her arms and her legs in a way that it looks like swimming. Looked like swimming. And so it was very impressive. And then what the coaches in the UK did from this point onwards was also amazing. I mean, when you really saw the first time and then how she's doing it, then it was really like, wow.
But it's really funny how Matthias, Natalie, and like some of the main roles and main people in the movie are not actually much into swimming. Like, I saw Matthias's interview, and of course Matthias is he's not just known in Germany, he's an international star and very well known in Egypt as well. And they were like asking him about his swimming experience, and he was like, I know how to float. I'm good at floating.
He's a bit humble because he knows better to swim.
Okay.
I know that he was in a club when he was young, so he's just hiding it a bit.
That's very humble of him. I really want to know and touch down on your relationship with Yusra's family. What's the nature of the relationship? Like, I see you both are, from what you're saying, you are actually pretty close. And your relationship with her father, her original or her first coach, I want to know the dynamic and your relationship with the whole family. How's it like?
Of course, Yusra and Sara are my first points of contact. Yeah, we have I really can rely on them, and they can rely on me. This is the thing. And then there's a family, of course. When they arrived in Berlin, we offered the same: place to sleep, way to go, whatever. And but it was always a distance. Yeah, of course, the father started then to work in the club. He also tried to figure out how to work, to get the work permit in Germany. And we spoke a lot, about Yusra's past, about his swimming his vision of swimming, and we had a lot of things in common. Of course, there are differences, but it was always cool to talk with him on the way to Olympics. And with the little sister Shahed and the mother, we have also a normal relation from the beginning. And we are still in touch. It is not so close like with the two women, but we have I would say a normal relation, how it is.
Yeah. It must have been hard for him forever being her only coach and her number one supporter, and then now you were taking on that role. So I want to know if he was ever like trying to interfere with, or was it just he just had faith that you know what you're doing, you know where you're guiding her? Because it's a struggle being a father and a coach, and then kind of letting go of that coaching and guidance and giving it to someone else. It's hard, I believe.
I can imagine that it is hard, but this is a question for him.
Yeah. We
never spoke about this because we really had different things, and this is also something. I mean, for someone who was working the whole time in his home, worked a lot in Syria, in Jordan, at clubs, and then came to a country and was hoping, okay, here I can build up something. And the first thing is the German authorities are telling you, you have to wait till you can start doing things. It was more his struggle, and this was more the point. And this was where I also felt the first time that the system of how we treat refugees, how we deal with their situation, is not the right way. Why they shouldn't start to work immediately, why they shouldn't build up their life again. So this was more the thing, and we never had hard discussions. It was a respectful together for the thing.
That's amazing. So also you said you had a discussion with Matthias about your childhood, his childhood. And was there something in common there? Did you find some common things between you both?
It was not so deep. I think what we have in common is that that he's also open. Yeah, he's also open-minded. He's also someone who wants to meet people, who wants to talk. But I think it was totally different how we grew up. I think his family came from the artist work. My father is a painter, and my mother works for doctors, and so totally different. Yeah. So my father was not a painter for artwork, no, for walls.
And I see that your relationship with your sister is pretty close. Like, you take her opinion. You asked her, like, I saw some of previous interviews, and you were asking her about, like, who do you think should play the role, and like, so is she a person that you go back to for guidance, for her opinion?
Of course, yeah. I think we always had a close relation. It was also in waves, lower and higher. But especially when she was younger, I think I once used the word torture, but in a way it was torture. She as well with me, but she could also be very annoying as a young kid. No, it was always respectful, and also the same situation, like or what I said with my swimmers. It was when there was my sister and I, we could fight a lot. Yeah, loud, very loud, bad words. But at this moment, when someone from the adults came in and pointed at one of us, the other one was directly in front and said, "No, not my brother, not my sister. You're fine. We deal with it." Yeah. If I know that whatever will happen now, she will help me.
She has your back. Knowing that you have someone that's just there having your back is really essential for success, because I see that Sara was like, she was just like your sister, is your own comfort zone and your own person that you go back to. Sara was really there she's the one that told Yusra, like, or at least according to the movie.
I think both sisters also know that the other one will never turn the back on the other one. This is, I think, the importance. What really, I know that there was a conversation between them when there was this announcement of this team and that Yusra can compete there. or could be chosen to compete. I know that both spoke about it. And I know that Sara was more open from the beginning and said, hey, it is a great chance. I remember, it's the first time you will hear it, when the team was announced, I called Sara. I didn't call Yusra, I called Sara and said, Sara, there's something, we need to talk to Yusra about it. And of course it was also the idea to talk with Sara about it, because she was also a swimmer, but she decided not to swim, and I also wanted to tell her, look, this is the situation, don't be surprised. But of course it was more about Yusra. And yeah, and I know that then after I explained everything to Yusra, I know that she was not with the Refugee Olympic Team from the beginning, but then she spoke with a lot of person, of course, with her parents and with Sara, of course, as well.
But why did you choose to tell Sara and not Yusra?
It was at this moment the point that I thought I don't want to bring Yusra more problems, more thinking. It was more the situation that I said, okay, I don't know how she will react and act. Sara is a bit older. Maybe I can speak first with her to see what she's thinking. Because it is a label, yeah, Refugee Olympic Team, yeah, and we do not agree fully with this label of being a refugee. This is something that is something we don't like fully. We understand the world now differently, but at this time it was like, no, refugees, it is just a description of a situation, of a human being, not a label. It shouldn't be a label. So this was more the point.
So you mean that the label of being a refugee felt like it was limiting, like it was just putting you in this certain corner. This is who you are. Yeah. But you didn't want that, and they probably didn't want that. They didn't want to be just a refugee. No, I'm a human being. I'm a woman, I'm a young woman, I have dreams, I'm Syrian. I have a whole other identity other than just being a refugee. Yeah.
We discussed just about this label, and then came up this team. And at the first moment, we had no idea what it means. Yeah, so we spoke also with the IOC about it, and I explained it to Yusra, and so that it is a bigger thing. Yeah, that is nothing that is just a symbol. It is nothing that is just a team. It is nothing that is just a sport idea or an idea of someone sitting in an office. No, it is. There's a purpose behind it, and this is an understanding that we got. Yeah, every one of us. And maybe this was the point first when it was announced. We had not this background, and then we. So I asked Sara, how would you deal with this? I wanted to have an opinion, because of this refugee label in this team. But Sara was very good, and for me, it was very good how she was reacting. She said, no, it is good. It is good to bring up this. It is a chance for this. If it is Yusra or someone else, it was not about Yusra at this moment. It was more about this team. And she said, no, you have to talk to Yusra about it. It's also for her then a chance.
You saw it as an opportunity.
Yeah. And this is the thing that I also learned. Okay, the word refugee is nothing bad. It is the situation of a human being. And we need a word for this, that everyone speaks about the same thing. So we created this word, refugee, Flüchtling in Deutsch, or whatever, yeah, and Refugiados and everywhere. So yes, they are, but it is not an explanation for the human being. Between refugees are every kind of person that we can imagine, that we have in our friendship, that we have in our societies. Everyone we know there can be a refugee or whatever.
I see behind the coach, now that I got the chance to sit with you, behind Coach Sven, like really deep down inside, is someone really, really kind, and really humble. I really want to know, like, what's the kindest thing someone has ever done to you?
I have all the time so many kind things that I experienced with.
Is there one that resonates?
I mean, there are really a lot of things that happen to me, and already also on a daily basis. Yeah? I think when we talk about Yusra and Sara, beside my family. They do also a lot of nice things and friends, but when everyone knows Yusra and Sara, I have to say this is what that feeling, that how much they trust me. I think this is there's nothing that you can balance on a scale with money or other things. So these are things that these things are just there. It was the trust in this moment when Sara was arrested that she said to her friend there on Lesbos, call Sven. This is trust. I think no one can say something more about trust than to say, hey, I am in the deepest, sorry the word, shit, call Sven. Yeah. And the same
priceless.
And the same is with Yusra, that whatever she had for moments, and then when she said, yeah, but I learned so much from you. Yeah, this feeling, and I trust you, and I know when you do something wrong or something else, you never do it against things. It is just, and these are the kindest things that I have in this relation with them. That's
beautiful. And like about the trauma again that Yusra has been through, because me watching the movie, honestly, I cried so much. I really cried so much. The swimming scene, every time I see it, like I watched it 3 times now, I cry so much. And I really want to know, like, the role you played there when to really help them get past the trauma, because they just came fresh out of the trauma to you, and you were their source of hope that things could get better. I can live my dream. I can have a purpose. How did you really help her out, get past this trauma? It's not easy at all.
I mean, this is something also that both, I think, had a lot of support from other friends and other people, and they also figured out a way how to deal with this trauma. Both has to answer this question, how finally they found their way to deal with it. I mean, a trauma is not gone by this. It is a process that needs time. And it can come back all the time. That is also something that we all should remember, that trauma is nothing that is a thing that is done. But for me it was, I hope that I gave them always the feeling, okay, I'm there. I don't push you, I don't force you. Of course I ask them, how are you? How do you need help? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with this? And these things, there was an echo, or not an echo, a reaction, that it was sometimes, what are you talking about? And then it was sometimes, yeah, look, it was this and this and this, and I felt this and this and this. And sometimes, of course, there was also an emotional conversation, but this was the support I gave them. But how they dealt with the trauma in the whole complex situation, I think it was not just me, there were a lot of other.
Do you have your own traumas that come back to you? Or no? Compared
to what they went through, definitely not.
Definitely, their story puts everything in perspective when you hear about it, and more when you watch it and you feel it, that, hey, some people have way bigger problems, and it kind of gives you this ease. But even though if it's not as intense, do you have a certain experience or trauma or loss or fear that haunts you sometimes and really sets you back a little from progressing?
I would say the way of a pathological trauma, no one could diagnose it with me. But if there's something, then it is really this moment when this time when Sara was arrested, or what happened then. This is something I cannot imagine, and sometimes it's really even when the case was just 1 month ago at the trial of the first charges. The weeks before, I really said, oh my God, please let it end, please let it end. Of course, this is a kind of a trauma that I also have about it. The good thing is, for me, I could just relax and could say, hey, I won't go to jail, but this is not me, and I knew from myself that if I would be in this situation, I think I would be not so strong. I think I would need a lot of time to realize. I think I wouldn't be a fighter at this moment. I think I really would sit somewhere in the corner and cry. So I hope I will never face this kind of situation, but who knows? No. I'm not planning to do anything.
We have a confession here.
So it is. So this is a kind of trauma, and and to deal with this is to be open in a way. I think this is what we all need to be honest with us first. Then we can be honest with other people.
It really touched you.
Yeah, it is really touching, and it is still. And when this next trial will finally have an acquittal for them, what I know that will happen, then for me it will not end. I know this because there are so many other people in Europe. They are facing the same situation, and I feel maybe this is also a trauma, totally different, that I lose a bit the trust in the European value system. This is something, I believe in human rights. I grew up in this system. I really think that Europe and Germany and my background was always supportive and wanted to grow and to raise human rights and to bring it. But then you just walk around the corner and think, what? We talk about human rights. We try to blame Qatar for the World Cup things, and especially the German media tries this. And of course, maybe there are things that are not going well. I don't know, or maybe we know. But look around yourself, we lost this. We were on a good way.
Shook your trust.
So maybe this is also a trauma that I think, okay, when this special situation is done, how can we bring back the EU27 on this way to say, hey, we have human rights, maybe we have not open borders, like I would prefer it, but maybe we can have this kindness to people who are in need, and to be open and to see the differences, yes, but also to see what unites us. And this trauma, to climb above this, I think this will need more time.
Yes.
Very political now.
But true. It's something that, as you said, trust. Trust is very important. Sara's trust in you when she and Yusra called you the first person. And it's the same, for you. You've always trusted the system. You've grown up to believe in it. And then at some point, it was shook, and it shakes you deep down inside. Like, you start questioning so many other things. I hope Sara's doing well now. I know she's in your heart, and you're probably always thinking about her, and so is all of us. And I really hope things turn out better. I really do. It will.
This is. I just met the lawyer a few days ago, and we can be really optimistic because, like I said, so many times now, they did nothing wrong, and
they did it out of goodwill or good intent.
Of course, this was the first thing, but also in this intent, they did nothing bad. They never broke the law. Them. There's no reason therefore. And this is also something I would say, if there is something If there would be something, then we would know it, because it is a group of 24 defendants, and I don't know how many of thousands of volunteers were at this time on Lesbos. You cannot hide it. It is conspiracy doesn't work as far, or just work when there are two people who want to conspirate. I don't know. To make a conspiracy.
Yeah.
In this moment, when there are 3 or 4, it doesn't work, because someone will speak at home with the family, and then it is not a conspiracy any longer. So I just can say it is this vision to have this, it's a fault. I mean, to compare it with a criminal organization, we know in Berlin we have criminal organizations, and we know where they are and how they function. Everyone knows it. They just have not the proof to go against them. This is the point. Yeah. So, and at this thing on Lesbos, there's nothing.
It's sad.
Yeah.
I can feel like how affected you are with this, and it really shows me that you are a sympathetic person. Like you feel what other people are feeling, and maybe that's why you believed in Sara and Yusra, or that's why you gave them the opportunity, because being sympathetic is a strength that you don't realize. It's a strength and a weak point. Why? Because sometimes you get really affected and you feel your lowest or traumatized by this experience, as you said, because you feel what this person is feeling as if you are this person, as if you are her. But then again, it's good because it makes you a person that feels the world around them, feels other people, and really understands their experiences, puts himself in other people's shoes. And you are just a wonderful example, truly. Someone that can really make the world a better place, and your perspective on the world being one, us being united, all of us being humans. This is something that I truly admire. Like, I've been sitting here and listening to you saying that, and I admire that about you. It's a very, very, very kind and quality. It's a very humble perspective on the world. So let's do some really, really quick questions. You're gonna answer without thinking. You only have 30 seconds. Okay?
This is hard.
I know it's been a long day, but we're gonna try. So one quality you like the most about Sven?
Kindness.
One quality you like the least about Sven?
Kindness.
Okay. One quality you like the most about Yusra?
So many things. Her openness.
Okay. One quality you like the least about Yusra?
She can be annoying.
Like your sister?
Yes, in a way.
Okay. One quality you like most about Sara?
Her open heart. Openness as well, her open heart. But this is.
And the quality you like the least? Don't give it too much thought.
Her will to fight.
Her will to fight.
Now, of course, I like her will to fight, but sometimes she fights too much, just because of the fighting.
Okay, just for the sake of fighting.
Yeah,
She's a fighter at heart.
Yeah.
Well, that's both a good and bad thing sometimes.
But this is also something, when I had my first job interview, this question came, what is your biggest weakness? Yeah, this is a famous question. I don't know if it's the same here, but in Germany, everyone asked it. And I just said, it is not easy to answer. I think every weakness can be a strength, and every strength is a weakness. Yeah, and it's one example. Sara's will to fight is enormous and very cool and very good, but sometimes to fight just for fight is not bringing something. Yeah,
it holds you back a little.
Yeah. This is activism. Then you become an activist. Yeah,
Yes.
and activists are needed, and we need them actually more than ever before. But these activists, they, then you miss sometimes the point what you can change or what you can do.
You miss the purpose of why you're really doing all that.
Yeah. It's then a religion, and we have enough good religions. We don't need more.
Yeah. And one thing you fear the most?
There's not just one word. the things I feel the most is that this whole world and the people who live here don't find soon a solution to solve all these problems we have. This is the most. I have so much, and this is no longer. I have so much expectation to Gen Z that they will change all the shit we did in the past decades.
Imagine that this camera is all of Gen Z and they are taking a word from you. What would you tell them? Go ahead.
Be open and see the unity, the things that unite us, and not the things that differ us.
Thank you so much, Coach Sven, for this beautiful interview, for taking the time. I know it's been a very long day for you, but it really means a lot for your time.
Thank you so much. Good questions.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed.